Welcome to Not Starving Artists, the podcast. I'm your host, Brooke Benson, money coach and equity actor. I am your financial cheerleader, here to help you build your financial confidence and have power over your money. The best part, no budgeting or bi-weekly paychecks required. I went from being a broke BFA grad having weekly panic attacks about money to a financially confident, wealth-building actor and business owner. Money gets to feel fun, simple, and sexy, and I am going to show you how. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. We are talking today about showing up for your money even when you don't want to. Showing up for your money even when you feel like you've had a bad, quote-unquote, month. Showing up for your money even when you are afraid of what you're going to see. Showing up for your money even when you feel like you're behind and you're not going to like what you see. Showing up for your money regardless. And we're talking about this month because I know that a lot of people just close their eyes a little bit in the month of November and December when it comes to money. Because we're getting near the end of the year. I know there's this, the narrative in the creative industries is like everything shuts down in December. So we all just kind of like throw in the towel. And so if you didn't book something before December, or you didn't, get your call back before the holidays, like you just won't have anything until we start EPA season in January, right? So there's that energy. There's also the energy of this year specifically, just 2025 and the shit that we have been through since goddamn January. It can feel like we are just like running on fumes here in the final stretch of the year. And so with running on fumes energy, with like, holy shit, okay, we made it to the end of the year. How has it been a year? Also, oh my God, January was so far away. Some of that can then come with just like, fuck it spending. Fuck it, I don't want to think about anything. Fuck it, I just want to insert whatever comes to your brain there. And I'm not saying that any of that is inherently bad, okay? Like, I get that energy. I'm a little bit in that energy right now. But what I am saying is that it is important to not completely shut your eyes to what's happening with your money in this month. And you will probably have some stuff with your money that is out of the norm, right? Your income might dip. You might overspend. There might be an unexpected expense. There might be a travel delay where you have to put yourself up in a hotel. Your dog might eat some of the various chocolate that happened to be sitting under your tree that wasn't there. And so now you have to take them to the vet. Like, stuff like that could happen. So what we're going to talk about today is how to continue to show up for your money during a season like this, if that's what you're experiencing, right? Specifically in the holidays, but also this could happen for anyone in any season that's feeling this way. How to continue to show up for your money without shaming yourself, without then white knuckling money, without being like, I have to like dial it in and be in my hustle season and like, no, I am going to make so much progress. Like we're moving away from either end of the extreme spectrum, right? One is head in the sand. I'm not going to look at it. Fuck it. Run it up. It's the holidays. I don't care. This year's been hard. I'll figure it out in January. That's future me's problem, right? That's one end of the spectrum. The other end of the spectrum is, well, it's the holidays and I'm not going to let myself off the hook. Like, we are going to try and spend as little as possible. I'm going to not go out with my friends to this like holiday pop-up bar because I know it's going to be expensive and I'm really trying to dial in on my goals. So I'm going to stay home tonight, or like, making decisions and like going into like strong couponing because you're going to spend more in the holidays. So like, I got to make sure it's as little as possible. So then you spend a lot of energy and a lot of like willpower trying to make the most progress possible in this month, right? Or during these holiday seasons. We don't want that either. We want to be in this happy middle of, okay, it's the holidays. Hopefully you have some time off. Hopefully you are giving yourself some time off. I was also having a conversation. This is a tangent here. We'll come back to what I'm saying in a second. I was talking with one of my artist friends and we were talking about giving ourselves time off as creatives. Yeah, this is going to be a tangent. A good one, though, that I think we all need to talk about, because I know so many of you who are listening to this are self-employed, freelancers, artists, creatives, non-traditional career paths, right? Who don't have the like mandated bank holidays off, or like the mandated, if you're in the educational system, right? You have like the 2 weeks off and then you have your summers off, right? You're not given that. So it's up to us to give ourselves our own time off. But what this friend and I were talking about is that when you're an artist or a creative, you are constantly wanting to be in work, on work, time on. You are constantly trying to have time on. And what we equate time on as is a booking, a gig, a project. And so anytime we're not on a contract or in a gig, it feels like we are in time off, right? We're constantly striving. We want time on. So why on earth would we give ourselves time off when so much of our year we see as being in time off mode, even though you're working way harder when you're off contract than when you're on contract, because that's when you're auditioning, you're getting your materials together, you're in class, you're working, you're doing all the other stuff. Like on contract is the easy time. But it's really hard to like switch that in our brain of like, why would I schedule in time off for myself when all I want is time on? And I want to call that out because I am a victim of that as well. And even when I started Not Starving Artists, it wasn't until 2 years ago that I started giving myself holiday out of office time. So I used to just work straight through the holidays. Like I would be out of office on Christmas Eve and Christmas. But like other than that, I was just on all the time. Like I was still responding to Voxer messages. Usually the week of Christmas, I would push the one-on-one coaching calls, right? Because everyone was out of town. But other than that, right? Like I was still going, and it was because I was like, well, I love this, and like I want to keep working on my business. Like I don't want to take time off from this. Like, and it's easy for me. I can work from home. I can pop on. I can do a coaching call. Like it's good. But what I realized was like, I am my own boss. Why am I not giving myself time off? Why am I not giving my brain space, my creativity, my artistry, and also the part of my brain that like comes up with frameworks that can like be a full functioning machine to solve people's money problems? She needs a breather to cool down, to recalibrate so she can work harder in the new year. And so 2 years ago, I started giving myself a full week off for Thanksgiving and 2 full weeks off during the December season. And it's amazing, and I will never go back. But it was like, I remember having that realization of like, why the fuck haven't I been doing this? And so when this friend and I were talking about it, I was like, oh, I also don't give myself that any other time of the year. And like, right, as an artist, as a creative, remembering that we need to give ourselves that time off, even though we feel like we're in time off all the time because we're not booked, like we still need to give ourselves that recalibration time, okay? And also not from the energy of like, I need to give myself time off so that I can be more productive, because I know that rest is productive. Like just like literally cutting ties from the productivity. Also, did you even clock me when I was talking about it earlier of like, I need to give her rest so she can come back and like work even harder in 2026. Like I'm clocking myself right now still doing that. Okay. So this is a tangent that I needed us to go on because we are not too late in the year for you to, you can schedule in time off for yourself. Even if it's just like a 3-day stint where you aren't doing jack shit, put it into your calendar, okay? Okay, I just had to pause that recording and go back and listen to it to figure out where I left off before I went on that tangent. I was like, I'll definitely remember it. We're coming back to that. Completely forgot what I was talking about. We're talking about the spectrum of managing your money, being aware of your money, and not being in those extremes. What does it look like to be in this happy medium that is actually where you should be living for the entire year, but it is especially important for you to be living in at the end of the year, right? When, again, holidays, end of year, new year, new me. There's a lot of stuff here that makes it just even more important that you are riding that middle ground, right? Of I'm going to stay fully aware and be making decisions around my money that feel intentional. And I'm also going to let myself have fun, and I'm not going to white knuckle, and I'm going to breathe and enjoy and only check my bank accounts, like only do my money management one time a month. I'm only going to do it in my financial CEO party. And I'm not going to be checking my bank accounts compulsively throughout the month because I'm so afraid I'm going to be, we're not there. Okay. We're in that happy middle. So in this happy middle ground, what that looks like is you making a decision internally in your brain right now in this moment, if you haven't already been committed to this headspace, is me knowing what's happening in my bank accounts is a priority. And I will never not know what's going on. I will never not show up to my money date no matter how I'm feeling. That is an internal decision that you have to make. Because if you are relying on you feeling good about your money and you like sticking with your money plan and feeling good about that as a prerequisite to having a good financial CEO party, you're going to fail every time. Because not every month is going to be like that. I'm going to give you an example here. So for me, when I do all of like my doctor's appointments for the year, I do them all in November and December. I go get my skin checked. I go to my gynecologist. I go see my PCP. I get my eyes checked. And I go to the dentist. I have all 5 of them. And then, of course, I go to the dentist in the summer, too. But, like, I do all 5 right at the end of the year. 1, so I don't forget anything. And 2, I usually do them all in 1 week. And I have a lot of health anxiety. And a lot of my anxiety manifests as health stuff, and my anxiety really likes to latch on to health things. So for me, putting it all in 1 week and then giving myself just like the most love and care and delicious, like I take a lot of baths all the time anyway, but like I take baths every day. I get myself all my comfort food. I don't require myself to do a lot of work. Like I just watch TV shows and I walk around and I see all the holiday lights. So like as I'm walking to all the doctor's offices, I walk out and I'm in like a festive wonderland. Like that's really good for my nervous system. Okay. As I'm doing all of these big, hard, scary things, even though for some people they're not big and hard and scary, for me, they feel really big and hard and scary because of my health anxiety. Right. And I'm always like with all the health tests, like I'm holding my breath and I'm really scared that something's going to come up and all of that stuff. So I also want to say here too, like I want you to, some of you who are listening to this do not resonate with that at all. Like, I go to the doctor, it's so easy, like, I'm never stressed, like, whatever. You like, don't understand this flavor of anxiety, right? Or how someone could possibly want to put off these appointments, which I used to when I was, years ago, when I let the anxiety, like, take over. I was just like, I don't want to know. I'm going to close my eyes, right? So I want you to notice how, like, when I talk about financial CEO parties, I'm like, I'm going to show up for my CEO parties. Even if I'm stressed about money, even if whatever, like I'm going to show up. I'm going to do it, right? And some of you might be like, I don't understand how you can do that and like see it and like not be anxious or like not be anxious before you sit down to pull up the bank accounts. But I want to show you like everyone's going to have anxiety about something, okay? We all got our own flavor of anxiety. So when it comes to doctor's appointments, right? Like that's my specific brand of anxiety. But I have made the internal decision that no matter what, every single year, I'm going to show up. I'm going to show up. I'm going to get that blood work done. I'm going to have them spread me open, look inside. I'm going to have them I got my fucking eyes dilated today. Have you guys had your eyes dilated recently? I hadn't had it done in like, I don't know, probably like 10 years. Because eye doctors, or at least I've gone to like a different eye doctor every year for the past like 7 years. Not a single eye doctor has ever offered it to me. I don't know. I was on a deep Reddit thread about how eye doctors don't offer dilation anymore. Okay, this is a tangent that is not related to money at all. But I had my eyes dilated today, and I had way too much hubris about how much it would affect me because I was like, yeah, okay, sensitive to light, whatever. And I literally, when I walked out of the doctor's office, it was like an audible Dracula hiss, like in covering my eyes because it hurt so bad. And then like I planned to work today, but like I couldn't see. And I was like, oh yeah, you like can't see when you get your eyes dilated. That's also why I'm recording this in the evening. I was planning on recording this earlier in the day. Couldn't see. So anyway, get my eyes dilated. But to go back to what I was saying, the initial point of this story was that I have made the choice that no matter what shows up on a test, no matter what a doctor tells me, like I'm going to be afraid and I'm going to be scared but I'm still going to show up. The two things that have allowed me to stick to this decision that I have made for myself, well, three things. I have one is like my deep core why of like why I even care about making this decision for myself, why I even care to show up just to get these routine checkups every single year. And part of that why is like my longevity and my family. And there's also an identity thing of taking care of myself and like what does it mean to do self-care that's not just like the bubble baths and the face masks, and also part of like I'm not going to let fear and anxiety run the show, right? I'm still going to show up and do the things because I know they're good for me, right? And like, okay, and then we know that our healthcare system, and then this is another tangent that I'm not going to go down because I have a point here, but there's like an identity and a deep why, okay? We're going to come back to that when we talk about your monthly money dates. But the other two things, the one I mentioned earlier, which is I make it so that I kind of have like a play week. I have such a luxurious week, like such a comforting, nice week that I get to give to myself where it's like when you would go to the dentist in the middle of the school day and then like you would get to stay home sometimes the rest of the afternoon, like depending on when the appointment was. And you could just like, when I would like get my braces tightened and it's like, and I just got to like eat some ice cream because it was too hard for me to like bite on anything and I would just get to watch movies the rest of the day. Like it was like I did a hard thing and then I got this reward, and it was like the reward was a fun thing that actually kind of overshadowed the hardness of the thing that I was doing before. Like I'd do a whole week of that, right? We're going to come back to that again when we talk about financial CEO parties, why they're set up the way that they are. And some of y'all, a lot of y'all, I know are forgetting the party part of the financial CEO party, okay? Okay, but then the third reason that I am able to continue to do this year after year after year, this hard adulting that feels really scary in my body, I'm able to keep showing up for all 5 of these appointments in the holiday season because the only thing that I have told myself I'm required to do is show up. Show up to the appointment. That's it. I don't have to do anything with any of the information that they give me. So like before this, it felt really cumbersome to like go to all of these appointments because it's like, okay, and then like maybe I have to get these tests done, and like specifically going to the eye doctor, it's like, okay, and then I have to figure out insurance of like, am I getting frames this year or contacts, and then I have to like fill out this paperwork and like get my reimbursement form and all this. So it was like all of this stuff got lumped together, and then it was like, okay, so when I go see my PCP, we're gonna like check these numbers, and then like, okay, but like if the numbers come back this way, then that means I'm gonna have to do X, Y, and Z, and like, am I ready to do X, Y, and Z? And then so then it attached all of this other stuff that made the avoidance really easy. That made it a lot easier for me to be like, fuck it, I just don't want to do it. Nope, too much. I don't want to think about that. I don't want to do any of that. Okay? But the only thing I've told myself I have to do, like I talk to my little baby self and I'm like, all you have to do is literally walk into the office and say I'm checking in, and then let them lead you into the room. That's all you have to do. Hold your arm out to get the blood taken. Okay? That's it. Have them put the drops in your eyes. That's it. That's all you got to do. And then we're going to go eat a donut and watch a movie, right? So the fact that I have made that barrier to entry of like what it means to have awareness, I haven't attached anything else to it, has made it really easy for me to continue to follow through. And then of course, like I am going to order my contacts, right? And I am going to like, if blood work comes back a certain way and I have to like do a thing, then I'll do the thing. But like, I don't think about that. Like I tell myself that that's all optional. All I have to do is show up, okay? So for your CEO parties, for your monthly money dates, this is the same exact energy. So the 3 things I just talked about. The first one is having a why, okay? A real why, core in your gut, in your big feeler. And it might not make sense, and it might not be the thing that like you think it would be. So I hear a lot of people, I've actually had a couple of clients who have told me that their big why, like when they're getting frustrated or when they are avoiding their CEO parties, it's like, okay, what's your why? And they're like, well, I want to retire early. I want to be work optional by, 40 or 45, I think were the 2 ages that these 2 clients had thrown at me. And it was like, okay, so like what does work optional life look like? And they were like, oh, well, it's like I don't have to like depend on income anymore. But I'm like, but yeah, like what does your day-to-day look like? And it kind of just sounded like they were still going to be doing the things that they wanted to do just without the pressure of income. And so when we actually got down to it, like the work optional number and that being a why, like wasn't actually real for them, wasn't actually a motivator, because for them that was like it was like a fear response of like, there's something enticing about not having to worry about people paying you or like making money to be able to survive. Like that's a really enticing thing. But when it comes to that deep guttural why of why you're showing up to your CEO party right now, your brain doesn't clock that, because it's like, well, I'm still going to be like pursuing my art and like, I really love my business. So I think I'm going to keep doing a realm of this at some point when I'm 50. Like, so you see the dissonance, like it doesn't make any sense. So when you're thinking about like, what's my why? Oh, I want to be work optional. That's also really far in the future, and your brain might not clock that as a reason to sit down and have your monthly money date right now. So what is your why? Is it because you want to be able to like live in a big city with enough wiggle room to be able to, go out with your friends whenever they ask and like not worry about how that's going to affect your finances? Like, even though that's small, that's actually probably going to be a much bigger motivator for you to sit down and do your CEO party right now. Mine is, so I always have money for flights. That's it. Like a huge motivator, probably one of my biggest motivators, is that I'm always going to have money for flights, and I'm always going to have money in the bank to be able to do whatever artistic work I want to do. So like earlier this year, I did an acting gig that was low paying, but it was so fulfilling, and it was an all women plus one man, but he was just in the last 10 pages, but like an all women cast. And that was really enticing, but it was like, I kind of had to take a pay cut to be able to do that, but I had money in the bank to be able to offset it. Right. That is so enticing to me. So when I think about my deep why, being able to like even pay to do my work, or to be able to like take a low paying gig, or I have to put myself up in housing and like I have to front those costs before I get like reimbursed or get my big paychecks from the show that I'm going to do across the country, because I can tell them I can be a local hire because I can front my own housing costs. Like that sort of thing is so enticing. And then flights, so I can travel wherever I want. If like my friend has a party that I want to go to that's in North Carolina, like I'm going to go, right? Or I can go see my sister in LA, or I can go see my parents in Florida whenever I want to. That stuff, like that's not those big, like I'm going to be work optional. I'm going to have $1 million in my retirement account. I'm going to have $20,000 in savings. None of those mean anything. Those have no feelings or realness attached to them. Me thinking about being able to go on a contract and clear my calendar so I can like fully just be in playland for 2 months, that shit sits me down on my computer and has me doing my CEO party. Okay. So for you, that's your work. What is that silly stuff, or not silly stuff, but what is the stuff? And even if it is one of those big goals, like what is floating in your head when you think about your big why? And then what's the emotion behind it? What's the real want there? Okay? Then that's your why, and that's what you're going to sit with. So then the second thing is making it a party. This is the thing that so many of y'all, you're like, well, if I'm doing all the stuff, like it's kind of like, oh, it's the first of the month and I didn't really plan anything. So like, okay, but I'll just do it. And like next month I'll plan like to go somewhere or to like do a thing or like do the party part of it. And then slowly this shit just becomes part of your like month to month humdrum routine where you're just like, oh, sending emails. Okay, yeah, I should like move my money. It's the first of the month. Blech! No. That's part of why you are avoiding it, because it's not something you're looking forward to. You're not giving yourself that fun, like, day off from school energy. You're not giving yourself that fun, like, and then we're going to go out and do XYZ energy. You have to do that. You have to do that, because that's part of what pulls you out of avoidance in the first place. Because it's like, normally, we're not going to get to do that, but now you can, right? This is going to be a fun thing. So whatever that means to you. I give examples all the time, but like, I'll do mine in the bath sometimes. You can go out to a bar or a coffee shop that you love. You can get yourself something as a reward for doing it. So like taking yourself out to or getting your favorite takeout. Maybe you never get delivery, like you only ever like do pickup, but like it feels luxurious to get delivery. Like those sorts of things. Make it something that makes you go like, ooh, wait, that's so, wait, am I allowed? Wait, okay. Like that kind of energy. That's the party part of the CEO party. So if you find yourself avoiding your CEO parties and you find yourself kind of leaning into avoidance, this is also especially for those of you who have been doing financial CEO parties for years now, and you have like slipped into, like, you don't have as much avoidance about moving the money anymore, but you've slipped into it just being about moving the money and the numbers. You've forgotten the vibes. You've forgotten the energy. You've forgotten the juicy manifestation work. You've forgotten to check in with your emotions. You've left the journaling part. You've kind of like chopped that off the to-do list. You stopped asking yourself, how am I feeling? Hey, money. Hey, bank accounts. Hi, baby girl. You guys look so good today. You've forgotten all of that. So this is like a remembering of, even if you've been doing this for a long time, right? Let's get back to the party part. Now, the last piece is not expecting yourself to have to do anything else. Your only job is to show up and do the CEO party, do the money date, look at the money, move it around. And by the way, in Cashed Up Creatives, you get this whole checklist and framework. You learn how to set up your money flow, which is how you manage your money without a spreadsheet or a budget, especially if you have fluctuating income. It works for biweekly paychecks too, but it was built for fluctuating income. You're going to learn that system, and then you have your financial CEO party checklist for how to manage this all in just 1 hour a month, okay? So this is what I'm talking about when I say financial CEO party. It's a 4-step checklist. So you showing up and doing the party is the only job that you have. Because, and I was talking to one of my other clients about this recently, because she's been kind of in an avoidance season with her CEO parties. And it's because she's attached meaning, or she's attached extra to-dos or a lot of stuff alongside like what it means to check my numbers. So if I go in and do my bookkeeping and I know the numbers are not going to be what I want them to be, then that means I have to do this to bring in more clients. That means I'm going to have to decrease my spending. That means I'm going to feel guilt and shame about certain things that I've put money towards, because I could actually use that money for this other X, Y, and Z thing. Now all of this is weight. So it's like, okay, if I do my CEO party, then a boulder of shit that you're going to have to feel and think about and take action on. And I'm not saying that like taking action and feeling those things is a bad thing, but it's, you have made them one and the same, okay? And when you are in a spell of avoidance, or when you're in, especially on a month like this, where you know it might be hard to do your CEO party on January 1st, or you didn't do your CEO party in December because you didn't want to see it, it is probably because of this. Because you're like, if I look at the numbers and I see what's going on, I'm not going to be able to enjoy my holidays. I'm going to feel bad about what I'm spending on presents. I'm going to feel bad about how much my flight was to go home for the holidays. I'm going to feel like, oh, I really have to kick it into gear to like get more bookings or get more clients, but everything's shut down right now. So like, how am I going to do that? And then I'm just going to feel bad about what my income is, right? All of that attached to it, we gotta shoo all of that away. Because I would rather you show up to your CEO party, see what you see, assess what you assess, feel what you feel, do the journal, move the money from your landing strip into your Flex and Firm, zero out the credit card, pay off or make sure your debt payoff minimum went through, right? Do all of that. And then eliminate everything else. I would rather you not do anything in addition to the CEO party versus not doing the CEO party at all because you have decided that you have to do all this other stuff, or you're going to need to do all of this other stuff. Like, I would rather you overspend so much in December and look at your bank accounts and see the overspending happen rather than overspend and not look at all. Like the thing that's important for me that you do is that you show up and you look at it and you're aware of it. Because also what this is like, if you're I'm using overspending as an example because I know that's a lot of people what they experience during the holidays. If you're overspending during the holidays, and I even want to say like, you might feel like you're overspending, but you're not, right? Especially if you've done a lot of the work around spending and like juicing, like getting all the indulgence out of the spending you're doing. So it's feeling like you're spending more when you're not actually spending more. That might be what's happening. But number two, you might have just not made the conscious decision to spend more in December. You knew you were going to spend more in December, but you just wanted to put your hand over your eyes and say like, no, but I'm gonna not though. And then you do, like we do that thing with our brain where it's like, but what if I was perfect and I didn't ever have urges, especially on the holidays? That'd be really cool because then I could go into the new year and my bank accounts would look exactly the same as they do now. You know what I mean? Let's stop kidding yourself, right? How are you actually going to move through December? Okay? What might have happened is like you're not overspending, you're just spending more and you forgot to consciously put a stamp of approval on it and say, yes, I like that, okay? But also if you are like truly overspending more than you like chose to and want to and the stuff that you put your stamp of approval on, I would rather you be aware of the overspending as it's happening rather than like, oh, I feel bad about this and I don't want to know about it, so I'm just going to go fuck it, blackout, and then you're going to overspend way more because you went into a fuck it blackout than if you were just like, oh, I'm overspending, but you know what? I actually really like where all of this money went. Or maybe I didn't like where some of that money went, but you know what? It is what it is. I did that. And now you have that like internal understanding and calibration to move through like the next week, right? Like there's so many weeks in a month. It's not like a month as a wash, right? Okay. So the awareness piece, that is it. That's the whole point of this episode is like staying aware is more important than sticking to your money plan. Whatever money plan you said you were going to have for this month, staying aware is more important than sticking to the plan. Hear that again. Staying aware is more important than sticking to the plan. So if you have not had your CEO party, your monthly money date for December, and it is when this comes out, it's going to be December 12th. It's December 12th. It's middle of the month. Go and do your CEO party right now. I don't care that you're going to have one in 2 weeks. Go show yourself that you're going to show up for your money. Go talk to her and go make it a party, and then go sit, and when you're doing your journaling part of your CEO party, journal about that why. Like, what are those real whys that are popping up for you right now? And this also doesn't even have to be your big overarching life money why. It can also be your why for this literal season, for the next like 3 months. What's going to get you like sat down with your computer at wherever you choose to have your party. Your party! Say that again, it's a party. Okay? So I hope this was helpful. I hope you continue to enjoy your holidays while staying aware and while also saying yes to the things that really bring you joy. Have a fantastic rest of your week, and I will talk to you all next week. Thanks so much for tuning in. Come join me on Instagram for more on how to build a simple, sexy relationship with your money. My Instagram handle is @NotStarvingArtists. And if you want to dive deeper with me, head to the show notes to learn more about one-on-one coaching. If you love this episode, subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a friend that you want to get rich with.